Hey, what's up guys? It's your girl Ktura Kay and I'm back with another video. So today I'm going to be telling you all about what you should know before joining the military. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and that bell to be notified when I post new videos. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first things first, if you're thinking about joining the military, you want to do your research. That is the main thing. No matter what branch you want to join, there are health requirements. You have to pass, eye exams, physical exams, and stuff like that. You have to know all of that stuff beforehand. So you don't want to go in without knowing. I always do my research no matter what. Before I joined the military, honey, you couldn't tell me really anything. Like I asked around. If I even saw this one girl, we're friends now, it's so crazy. I met her at the freaking nail shop and she had on her uniform, and I asked. Like, I was that dedicated. I really wanted to know. I wanted to know others' opinions, even though that really doesn't matter, but still it does play a part in learning from others and their mistakes and things that went wrong in their career. Like, you can learn a lot from just asking. So you want to ask around. You want to Google has everything, even though some things on Google not correct or 100% accurate, but there's so many articles on Google about different jobs, and it will even take you to the Air Force website, which I'm going to mainly be talking about the Air Force, but the military in general. Jobs are jobs. So it's going to take you to that particular site for each branch, and it will tell you more about the job and the branch and what they expect, their requirements, the physical fitness requirements, the weight requirements, everything. All of that plays a part in actually joining and getting approved to join the military. You have to do all of that. That's definitely the first thing. Research is key. It's key. So you want to know as much as you can about what you're signing up for or what you want to sign up for. Because don't just think, oh, buddy over there drives a Camaro, I'm just going to sign up because I want a Camaro too. And don't think just because, like, and I know a lot of people say, like, recruiters would promise them things, especially like in the Army and stuff. Like, they said recruiters, like, oh, you can get that Camaro. I got a brand new Camaro outside that I drive. Like, that could be, you can get one too, and listen, do your research. Don't let somebody lure you in, based off of materialistic things. Think about your life. You're signing your life over. You're fighting for your country at the end of the day. That's really what you're signing up for. So are you willing to make that commitment? Because once you sign that contract, it's hard to get out. I'm not going to say it's impossible to get out, but it's hard to get out. So, think about that beforehand. Do your research. Like I said, that's definitely number one. Always number one. You have to sign a contract after every term. So after you do 4 years, 6 years, or however long you sign your contract for, you have to fill out another one if you would like to re-enlist. So that's what you do after every contract is up. If you want to stay in, you can. You just have to re-enlist. Or if you want to get out, you can just get out. So that is something a lot of people don't know either. So they think just once you, fill out your contract, you can get out whenever, or this thing, but you just have to keep the contracts up to date. Like, I was in charge of that actually for my job. Like, I had to make sure people re-enlisted whenever they were ready. I had to make sure the commander was okay with them re-enlisting, because sometimes the commander is against people re-enlisting. If they're not doing their job, if they're not passing their PT test, then that's the quickest way to get kicked out, or not get disapproved for re-enlistment. So especially in the Guard, so you have to be careful with that. A lot of people don't know that either. It's up to the commander at the end of the day if they want you to stay in or not. So be careful. You got to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to. But with the contract thing, make sure you read everything. Know what you're signing up for, know what you're signing, and read. Research, read. Those 2 R's that you got to make sure you do. So next I'm going to go into finding a recruiter. you definitely have to make sure you find a good recruiter, a recruiter that you can trust. I actually found my first recruiter when I was in high school. She was actually, you know, coming to the high schools and trying to recruit people for the Air Force, but it was for active duty. So I eventually decided that I didn't want to go active duty. So my best friend at the time wanted to join the Air Force. And so, you know, I was going to join with her. She asked me like, can you, you know, would you think about joining with me so we can go to basic training together and stuff like that? So, you know, I was like, okay, I'll definitely consider it. I'll look into it. Like, my granddad was in the military. My dad was in the military. Like, I'm all for it. Like, I don't have anything against joining the military. So it's definitely an option. So, you know, time passed, like we took our tests and everything like that. And I don't know what happened, but she ended up changing her mind. So I ended up going to college. I definitely wanted to join. Like I had done enough research to the point where I was like sold. I'm like, okay, I really want to go. My family was actually trying to get a cousin of mine to join, but she ended up not doing it. She had like all these tattoos and stuff, and you know, she just didn't want to do it. But I can understand that, like, you know, somebody trying to make you do something, of course you're kind of gonna be like, you're not about to make me do something I don't want to do, you know. So, you know, she was kind of rebellious, so she didn't want to do it, which is fine. I mean, it's not for everybody. So I would just hear them, you know, like talking to her, trying to convince her, and I'm like, I really think this might be a good idea. Like, I don't think I could lose anything from doing this. So I ended up, you know, doing my research, like I said, and I was like, you know, ready to join. So then I thought about it. I'm like, darn, I really want to get a college experience as well. So I don't know what to do. I'm like, I want to pledge and, you know, go to college and, you know, have that real college experience, because I don't want to regret it in the long run, like not actually going to college and, you know, getting that full experience. So I ended up going to college first. So I couldn't decide if I wanted to go active duty or reserve. So I did my first year of college, but in the middle of my first year, like towards the end, I'm like, okay, I think I want to join now, but I want to do the reserves. So I was looking into the reserves and I saw all the benefits, and I talked to others about their experience, and I'm like, okay, I really want to do something different. I want to do something that I can benefit from. And since I'm undecided on what major I want to pick right now, because that's really what like triggered me to like, okay, let me go ahead and do it, because I don't want to waste any more time or money here in college. I did my first year though. I'm not even gonna lie. I finished my first year with good grades, but I was like, I don't want to waste any more time or money if I don't really know what I want to do. Because I was in school for nursing. So I was like, I don't know if I want to be a nurse. Like, my granddad had just gotten sick and passed away. He was in and out of the hospitals. And I'm like, darn, if I become a nurse and I'm going to have to do this every day, like, you know, it's going to be my job, you know. So it kind of like drew me away from it. And I was just like, I don't think I'm feeling nursing anymore. And so I finished my first year, like I said, and I ended up signing my contract, and I got a good job. I had a job in personnel. So my recruiter, actually, my active duty recruiter, she actually, you know, linked me in with an Air Guard recruiter. It was actually someone that she trusted. So she was like, hey, I'm gonna let you talk to him. He's an Air Guard recruiter, you know, and she looked out for me. And I still have her number to this day. She still comments under my stuff, and like we're still cool. I'm glad that I was able to network, you know, in the process of even joining. Like, that's how, you know, reliable she was. So she, you know, got me in contact with him, and at first I think he went on a deployment or something, so he had to refer me to someone else. And you know, this guy, he was cool or whatever, but first job that became available was a warehouse job. And so, you know, I went to go see it because he was like, hey, you can meet me on base and, you know, I'll show you around and whatever. So I went, and it was in a warehouse, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this. And I just didn't want to just sign up for anything. So she told me, she was like, girl, don't take that job. And I was like, I don't think I am anyways, because it's, I don't want to work in a hot warehouse. It was hot. And now, mind you, I'm not knocking anybody that does, because I have some friends that actually work in a warehouse, and, you know, they have fun, and it just seemed like a cool environment. But yeah, I I wasn't feeling it, and I didn't know anybody at the time anyway. So, you know, I just wasn't feeling it. So she was like, yeah, wait till they have a, you know, desk job so you can, you know, have a nice office or whatever, you know, and be good. So I waited a little bit. She's like, your score, and then on top of that, my score was too high. Like, she was like, your score is too high to take a warehouse job. Like, don't take that job. So like I said, I waited around. I was still in school anyway, so, you know, I had all the time in the world. I wasn't going to basic training anytime soon. So, you know, I just waited. So waited it out, and then not too long after that, he had the personnel job available. So I actually took it. It was an admin job, and that's what she kept telling me. Get an admin job, you know, get an admin job. So I got my admin job, and I went, you know, my dad, my mom, I think my mom had to work the day I enlisted, but my aunt came. But it was cool, you know, like she was there for, you know, everything else, but she dismissed me actually like signing my contract and swearing in, and it was nothing big. It was just literally my family and the recruiter and the commander. So I was so glad my dad was there to experience that, man. It's crazy. We had pictures and stuff too. Like, yeah, my dad recently passed away, if you didn't know. But yeah, I'm glad he was there to experience that, and I have that memory of him. So yeah, so we did that, and after I swore in, you know, that's when you actually start coming in 1 weekend a month, but you're not going to your actual job because you haven't gone to training yet. You go to something called student flight. So that's where all the people go that have enlisted, but they haven't gone to training. So, you know, we were there, and we would do things like PT and learn knowledge and, you know, the Air Force song and stuff like that, you know, terminology and stuff like that. So that's what I did up until I went to basic training. So I finished out my semester. So then I went to basic training that summer. So went to basic training, and that was really the main thing. My recruiter got me up until that point, and then, you know, once you swear in, you don't really have to deal with your recruiter like that anymore unless they need like more paperwork from you. So I got into my whole military story, but we're really talking about getting a good recruiter. But I ended up getting the job that I wanted, and that was that. So make sure you get a job that you want and not something that they try to throw you into because they need you. It depends on where you are and, you know, the need within that base and that unit. So recruiter, that's key. Get you a good recruiter that's going to look out for you and get you a good job thing. And like I said, the Guard is a little bit different than active duty, but I know, you know, recruiters are recruiters. But like I said, the Guard is kind of like a close-knit family in a sense, because the Guard is not like active duty where you're moving around a lot. You get promoted in rank, of course, but you pretty much do that job for your entire career unless you decide to cross train, which is an option. Another thing you want to know before joining is that you are going to have to be fit. You have to be able to do a certain amount of push-ups in a minute, a certain amount of sit-ups in a minute. You have to run 1.5 miles in a certain amount of time, and your waist measurements have to be a certain measurement. So, you know, you have to be in shape. So I would recommend, you know, getting on your fitness grind, you know, getting healthy, eating healthy, starting to work out, and actually taking your body seriously, because when you're in the military, you have to be fit to fight. So you're signing up to fight for our country. So they want to know that if you're deployed, you're ready to go. You're going to be able to run in the field without passing out and stuff like that. So they need to know that you're fit to fight. So you have to make sure you're fit. That's another thing a lot of people don't know. So another thing, be prepared for a ton of training. The Air Force is constantly growing, so they want to make sure your brain is going. They want to make sure you're well equipped to do your job. So they have tons of training. So literally everything is like training. Every day we have training. Like I'm working from home right now, and we still have training to do. I have a training coming up in the next 2 weeks that I will have to do. So it's constant training. So, you know, be prepared for that. If you hate PowerPoints and stuff like that, honey, get used to them, because everything is a PowerPoint these days. Everything. So if you are coming out of high school, you have to have a high school diploma, But if you have a bachelor's degree, please look into going the officer route. I highly recommend it over enlisting, especially if you have the credentials and you're able to become an officer. Listen, do it. Do it. Don't let them tell you, oh no, we don't have any slots. Keep calling around. Listen, don't take no as an answer. Keep trying. If that's what you really want, I would definitely say, if I knew somebody that was told that she had her bachelor's degree and she still ended up enlisting in the Guard because they told her they didn't have any officer slots available, which I know it may be challenging if you didn't go the ROTC route. And if you're going in the Guard, you have to make sure that they have a slot available and stuff like that. Honey, don't take no as an option. Do your research, call around. You just never know. You just never know. So you want to make sure you do that if you have your bachelor's degree, because that's the requirement to be an officer. You have to take another test, of course. AFOQT is way more challenging than the ASVAB, which is what you take if you want to enlist. So, you know, take that into consideration as well. You have to take that test. And yeah, if you have that bachelor's degree, please take advantage. Try to go the officer route because life is a lot better, to be honest, just from my personal experience. So that's something else you need to know before joining. And you want to make sure you have everything together. Read, research, and you should be good. So those are the main things you really need to know before joining the military. I touched on so many other different topics in my military series, so you definitely want to check that out. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video and if you like military related videos, and I will keep them coming. Comment down below if you have any other ideas or any other topics you would like for me to talk about. And hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and that bell to be notified when I post new videos. So I will see you all in the next video. Bye.